It freaked me out to think that there was an orb that you could actually see a face in.
This ghost was angry at me. The smoke enters my mouth. He's coming inside me. I'm being possessed. It hit me pretty hard that he's for real. My ghost story began when I was working at the St. Augustine Lighthouse in St. Augustine, Florida, as a museum guide. I've always been drawn to history. St. Augustine, being the oldest city in America, is peppered with tragic events, tumultuous battles between the British and the Spanish, pirates and the Civil War battles. There has been a watchtower out there since the 1500s when the Spanish settled in St. Augustine. St. Augustine Lighthouse is 150 feet tall. It was built between 1871 and 1874. It's 209 steps up to the top. When I started working at St. Augustine Lighthouse, people kept on telling me this place is haunted. From the director down to the janitor, they had ghost stories. I didn't know what to believe because I am naturally a skeptic. I was not a registered believer in ghosts. Things started happening that actually went along with their stories. Doors in the museum would mysteriously lock. The light went on and off when I was counting money. I would hear somebody walking, but there's nobody there. There was no open windows. There was nothing that was broken that could have created that sound. It was as creepy as it could be.
My name is Tina Verduzco. I'm a storyteller and a tour guide with Jonas. Throughout the years, people have seen full apparitions of the lighthouse and actually had experiences of coming in contact with an entity. One of my first or second tours that I did, we were talking about the different ghosts that are at the lighthouse. Someone happened to notice that there was something at the very top of the catwalk, and when we looked up, there was a full apparition of something staring at us. That was a really interesting experience, and all of us saw it on the tour. This is not something that's new. The entities have been around for a very long time. There are 13 pirates that were executed and buried behind the lighthouse. There are numerous stories of hangings in the basement of the lighthouse.
There was a drifter who, in a stormy night in the 1890s, he knocked on the lighthouse keeper's door asking for shelter. They took him in. The next morning, they found him dead. He had hung himself. When they restored the St. Augustine Lighthouse in the 1980s, several workers just left one day, refused to come back. All of them had seen a vision of a man hanging from a noose. And I guess I had goosebumps all over when I heard that. After working there for a year, people told me that sometimes you can smell that strong, pretty nice smelling tobacco smell. You don't see it, you just smell it, and there's nobody there smoking anything. I wrote it off like it was probably somebody who had a stogie out in a parking lot and the smell was still there. The theory is that it might be Captain Rasmussen, who was an avid smoker. And he was a lighthouse keeper from 1901 until 1924. He fell to his death at whitewashing the tower. During the years, we have gathered a lot of evidence of the paranormal from our tours. This gentleman that visited our tour had donated his picture to us. When I received this picture, I almost fell off the chair. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I saw a real face. When you zoom in on it, you see his mouth, you see his eyes, and his forehead is like cut off right here because he's wearing a hat. A lot of people make out it's like a captain's hat. The beard is a typical beard from the 1800s that sailors had. And you see something sticking out of his mouth. It's a pipe. Not only was it this picture, there's two more pictures when you also see the same face taken the same night. And you actually can see how the face has moved.
The very first time I saw the pictures, it freaked me out a little bit to think that there was an orb that you could actually see a face in. It definitely looks like a human male. You can see the nose and the mouth, and then from the mouth, it looks like a pipe. And so we're assuming it's Captain Rasmussen.
This night, he was captured listening in to our tour guide, telling the story about the tobacco-smoking ghost. One night, I had two guests that wanted to know everything about the hauntings at St. Augustine Lighthouse. So I went through in detail, thoroughly, telling every ghost story about St. Augustine Lighthouse I could possibly remember. And after a good 10 minutes or so, I said bye to them, and as I came outside, immediately I smelled this strong smell of tobacco. Right away, I remembered I forgot to mention the tobacco smoking ghost. And I was wondering who's out there smoking, but there was nobody out there at all. And that's when I got creeped out. It hit me. He's here now because I didn't talk about him. Very eerie moment, like time is standing still. I was experiencing something that was not normal, something that was out of this world. It hit me pretty hard that he's for real. So I was a little bit concerned that this ghost was angry at me. So I headed over to the visitor center where I know other people are gonna be. He didn't leave me alone. He was with me. It's like somebody smoking right next to me the whole way over there. As I'm entering the gift shop, the smoke enters my mouth. And at this point, I'm getting concerned that I'm being possessed. He's really telling me, you better not forget about me next time you talk about the hauntings here. The only person in the gift shop is Leah. And before I say something, she goes, Jonas, I smell the cigar smoke. I did not tell her before she told me. She verified the same experience. From then on, I had my evidence to really believe for the hauntings at the St. Augustine Lighthouse.
I think it's rather humorous that that was Captain Rasmussen's way of letting him know that he wanted to be included in the stories. I absolutely believe that those pictures are proof that there are ghosts at the St. Augustine Lighthouse. It just reinforces the fact that there is so much more than what we know.
My theory is that the lighthouse keepers worked really hard. They had to walk up those 209 steps to the top with a heavy bucket of fuel. They had to polish that light, keep it lit for the sailors. Maybe they're still attached to it, and after death, they still feel responsibility to hang around and make sure that light is lit.